Hello, the species value nature system. Hello, Lost Legion. Hello. Now, this is about the Trade Center attack. There were actors that were from my state. I was in the context of the Trade Center attack right before the attack. We weren't home right before the attack. There were people from my state who were in the location and also tied to the people who were tied criminally to the people, even though I wasn't charged as reported, tied criminally to the people who were in the case as federal criminals. And they're associated with a proven after the attack. In that context, right before the attack, there had been a sequence shift, post-dated documents from inside the court to appear before the panel of judges in the Ninth Circuit to appear late. In other words, my father had later proven that he had hand-delivered. My father was a accomplished pro se litigant, won an NLRB case against federal criminals with for example, when we had construction jobs into our industries, this is with and as and how we are shared as hundreds of nations to and as tactical ulterior from actual space nature's value nature system as other ones. Other natures are positive. Where now our fact treatment nature has nations by reality system by value nature, by fact treatment nature, which is true, which is obligated to be able to know what is true always and what is not, and to know the value of exceptions and of exception nature, which is a demonstration of the nature that is bond onto an inanimate order of all finite, which is scientifically discernible. Scientifically discernibly being obfuscated for internation sciences. Everyone blaming on other causes, other things, and others. What is the real causes of it? Which is, see, we have to go. You watch this. Our nature has a relationship to itself that a breaching method that we're supposed to have freedom of religion defended. We have it tactically defended formal teaching of it with physical delusions, with opinion natures dishonest, with the sciences, because there are fact treatment rackets with our branches originally still criminally foreign infants need to hide lie progressions per their roles with recorded criminally foreign influence precedents, with their roles with identity thefts, with database solution stacking. Each campus I went to, this deposition I was taking, they allowed a Hartford court, reportedly, to be used for, reported anyway, to be used for a deposition with where and how police forms and former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, was a co-defendant with federal criminals who had a daughter in my grade and who had also roles with Eric Jensen and others who are now involved with sex offenders, proven also, but they also had crime roles with database solution stacking and with identity thefts in the past. And they're holding on to that interbranch actors to pretend in the background. And they use fake news and they use in forging names with various police, identity theft crimes, where they switch the officers with an officer that wasn't even there that pretended that he was the one who arrested me. Pretended I was in a hospital that he used to work at too. Behind my Detective Samuto. He's also recorded and confessed involved with people intercity with CCSU, with dozens of people tied to Alina's Pizza. And they're recorded and confessed roles with ID theft crime roles, and acts, and natures and tricks. Where Alicia, with a number of people with that name Alicia, are recorded and confessed with interstate I'm off CCSU and other like Middlesex community colleges, criminal justice and other roles with like a with the kids who had crime roles with the federal criminals before they were proven to be federal criminals, who were then in a 2006 case, part of a case that came after my father proved that they sequenced shit from inside the Ninth Circuit. That's also where the Scalora family recorded and confessed involved with sex offenders in the form of their roles with drug crimes and with identity thefts with those sex offenders, pretending they knew me behind my back through time, to my face as an illusion, like I knew them. As also other extended family members of a Colombo family who has a Phil Clo also reported and confessed involved with the Yagmin family and with houses around the Samuel Dix house, and that's right, or at the end of the street, right around the corner at the end in the Little Red Schoolhouse, right around down the street next to on the southern side of the high school, the side you drive into to go right into the parking lot. And otherwise, you go in the front way and then you take a left. You go from the east side. So you go houses on each side of the high school where I was strangers that were recorded and confessed, involved with identity theft crime roles, with interbranch actors and before in overt criminality, with the middle school and with the principal sex offenders campus that was just sentenced. But they were recorded with worse force sustained of that nature of crimes and of other drug and medical crimes. They also, WFSB and Foxct admit to faking news with medical families involved with the sex offenders, fake conversations with people, recorded and confessed, involved using directing police, having directed and directing police to write lies, to send people in for mental evaluation, because those courts have recorded and confessed family and themselves criminally involved with drug crime roles and with sex offender crime roles, hiding reality, and then identity theft crime roles, attaching people to fake conversations, fake behavior, fake sequences, fake relationships to others, with courts also recorded and confessed involved with them with other area crimes. So because once you do that, then they have lie progressions that the breaching method maintains. Originally, I'm not even a lawyer. And so we can see that they're still exploiting the jobs of lawyers, types of crimes. These are juxtaposed. They're effectively wanting and needing to be called out on the sex offender crimes, for example, for the women involved with the interbranch men, and styled distinctly and non-distinctly from the interbranch women recorded as leaders involved with sex crime roles, with dishonesty with their opinions and passions, with and as their roles with behavior crime roles. So then they need to deny this by preventing people ability to have free speech by them already having and continue to stack people to fake relationships to others, fake database information they keep sticking in, sending slanders. See, this is where we have real sick lies and fake conversations and then forging names with a Leahy family, woman in a Leahy family, and men in a Leahy family involved with child offenders through time. And Rick Chamfayone, only he sought me out after he graduated high school to confess this. And then in high school, in middle school, he recorded and confessed involved with the O'Brien family. You know, like then there's like three Burstein brothers, for example. Their father that taught at the principal sex offender school. And the old principal that used to be then, he had a daughter involved with the crime roles with that, and the principal's police chief's daughter is reported to confess involved with his crime rules. Also reported to confess by other police that the principal's involved. I mean the police chief. We have interbranch retired and standing detectives like two Mendez brothers, reported and confessed with the in-court, out-court police with the child offenders of juxtaposed natures through time. I just remind. They're also reported and confessed involved with identity thefts, all kinds of harassment and stuff like that, and roles with the Yagmin family. And with Joshua Julian also reported and confessed involved with interbranch uses of Facebook pages of the New Britain Superior Court's Facebook page and of Highcrest School's Facebook page with the Joshua Julian and with other a Kerr family and a KNERR family reported and confessed involved with rape threats and with evidence crimes with judges involved with sex offenders, drug crime roles, identity theft crime roles, sequence shifting crime roles, database illusion stacking crime roles, slander crime roles, torture crime rules. See, this was recorded tied to a torture method that had nothing to do with the motivations and natures involved with the Arabic side of the Trade Center attack, which it was also here too through peaceful, like Eric Burgess, also reported and confessed since 2000, that used per my means to record some, like if you wanted to record how oxygen exists and people are lying but are offensively confessing federal crimes like their roles with military police and court police, and then switching statements on that. That's a federal crime, and then that's crime role because then I tried to report that. So God knew they were doing that. It's a federal crime not to try to report that. These CCSU is with on-off campuses maintenance to, like they have criminal justice with prison cliques with kids and with adults and with training of undercover and stuff like that with acting teachers and doctors of various things involved with psychology who are involved with all kinds of natures of physical delusions and database illusion stack, identity theft crime acts and roles with courts and with positions with the campuses, like the over here, the three Burstein brothers, the father with the campus. Now, diagonally across from them and next to them used to live Mike Lamonte and his sister. Now they moved to Woods, to a cul-de-sac on the other side of Woods behind the school of the grammar school, with houses next to it further tied to that, recorded and confessed involved further with the child offenders. Because this was juxtaposed with their roles and uses of that per various natures of court and of their police and actors and family members recorded already invested to crimes with evidence reception and with opinion natures about, then that gets consolidated by federal investigations forced by like the Trade Center attack, which is used to cultivate, their roles already having exploited only let realized criminally foreign influenced criminal justice interstate, interbranch, military juxtaposed, life progression cover up nature's needs, and to hide from and to hurt and keep hurt correlation nature as fake care too. Correlation nature as value, our fact treatment nature. Our fact treatments as values as nature and as nature's relationship to itself. See, we have that. We have systemic rackets pretending what are facts and what is truth is not being used to attach lies to it insidiously and sequence shifts, and especially with behavior. See, I caught interbranch actors with worse tied to the principal sex offender and tied to his recorded tied to his doctors and tied to those courts that put him away since before they put him away. Tied to the same actors, I recorded a pattern of them with federal crimes, predicate acts like mail crimes, wire crimes, forging names, switching names, identity thefts. Before they're also recorded forcing the principal sex offender sustained, those same courts, and actors and family members of them tied to them. Their motivations and means to do that were by evidence reception bodies in the background preventing free speech. They directed WFSB, Foxct, after cultivating them to criminal foreign influences and roles, communicating with people through Millwoods Park, and they play baseball together. This is also juxtaposed with and as people who were cultivated to roles with like the Britain Herald, with Fox, with crimes with professors, and with such where interbranch actors have live progression cover up deeds offensively, from the past that were active in the past because they had them from the past before that. Before I was there, they were sequence shifting, database illusion stacking, and influencing all the people with positions in the campuses. In other words, the three Burstein brothers were recorded and confessed, also involved with many others, with the English department chairs, recorded and confessed involved with doctors that forged my name. They have family members there. They have relationships and roles with their students that were in the class with me at the same time, and them juxtaposed with like federal criminals, with drug critics and stuff like that, tied to juxtaposed relevant overt criminal enterprises from various nations at once, recorded and demonstrably facilitated and maintained for natures of crime and uses of them, where and how they have recorded identity theft crime roles with branches and with all that tied to them, private and foreign, shared as names like that with psychology. The police with the media also recorded and confessed involved with that foreign and domestic. The Leahy family also recorded and confessed with others, with a Russian woman, and with their roles with abuses of women, with and as the same men and women, interbranch leaders behind the child sex offenders, and not letting that reported, and as recorded fake passions, fake care. They have treatments of pretending they care about rights by wanting to have the girls share the restroom with guys, basically. They have these gangs juxtaposed with undercovers and training like that with criminal justice and like Justin Klavinsky, many people tied to them sought me out to repeat, and I never tried to contact them my way. Recorded and confessing. When I was in grammar school, they directed, recorded confessions and demonstrations, various ways of interbranch collusion with yet proven federal criminals, and already juxtaposing for causes and reasons, blamed on other and others, and exploited like that originally. Still, see, the president notes, do you guys even know anyone who sits in with these trade agreements and all they're involved with? See, pseudo positive is being exploited originally and still, with all roles justifying defenses as styles attaching lies to truth, with news and courts preventing voices of kids all the way up through their as adults for crime methods, maintaining originally propagated interbranch collusion with all tied to them as lie progression cover up nature's needs and roles with force hundreds of shared nations sick with the policing on off training on off campuses. They're starting too young with the undercovers too, and with trying to judge them by comparing them to themselves, and then that to everyone else. These are branches already needing to keep everyone incapable of correlation, protraction, means. So the vague means. So Anthony Yagmin is also recorded and confessed with interbranch police with the Mendez family. Recorded and confessed with the police chief and other retired and standing detectives involved faking with forging names, switching sequences, and with crimes with police equipment with children and with doctors, foreign and domestic. Also with overt gangland drug crimes, roles and stuff like that, crime roles with violence through time, as with and as reported crime roles with fake care simultaneously, as other natures and uses of juxtaposed natures of child abuses, recorded with and as what motivated my previous and standing neighbors with roles with elderly homes, criminal uses of them, and of, you know, their family members. Also recorded and confessed further involved with criminal uses of standing FBI criminality, incompetence criminally exploited with the area through time. Dozens of natures of that juxtaposed and roles of that. With other agencies also, with this Leahy family, all kinds of other names with them switching names, sequences, preventing me a response. They use also checking up on people, recorded, used to cover up their stacking federal crimes that they're pretending are other, because they're preventing response to them recorded attaching, painting illusions, painting fake relationships to people into actual sequence. And there's crime methods with this, motivating people as a behavior crime role, a crime method with all kinds of other behavior crimes recorded. They're recorded pretending that's because someone raised their voice, even though I did it one time in my life. I love my mother. Forget about it. Everyone loves their mother. You know what I mean? And exceptions only. Anyway, it was demonstrated to me through time that my past and my previous neighbors were all recorded and involved with interbranch and with foreign, a Dillon family and other men and women recorded and confessed involved with juxtaposed natures of real estate crime, medical crime, acts, roles and natures, identity thefts through time, crime acts and roles with interbranch police inside and outside of cases. They're interbranch police through time, crime acts stacking, prevented me from reporting this since I was a kid because they're exploiting their roles with positions they're maintaining criminally foreign influence with, like a Steven Stacco and a Maria Fazzino, also strangers that sought me out to confess, record, and demonstrate their crime roles with interbranch police, with their offices, their business also down the street from state judicial branch officers, also with the Fianza family and their neighbors, recorded and confessed involved with all kinds of natures of crime, with the body dumping spot of a Billy Grasso, and with police forms interbranch with the sex offenders and roles with foreign police with that, and doctors with that, and drug clicks, and evidence perception rackets. That really these criminal enterprises are juxtaposed to fake identities, fake difference. As the president tries to talk about criminal insidiousness nature, now that a quality of fact treatment nature of truth, with and as fake fact treatment truth, consciously pretending authentic that they care about facts, knowing that they're attaching lies and delusions to facts, as criminal insidiousness nature, as roles with our interbranch, worse than interstate and foreign recorded military recorded collusion with the Trade Center attack. Their roles in needs for the same finite active body value and progressive value lies facilitated by them to them. By and through all the perfect world rackets with the jobs estate tied to justifications of the streams in courts every day as victim predators, inter-campuses on, off campuses maintained, internatures of campuses. They tell everyone who do you want to be before they everyone wants to be is our nature's voice, our nature's value, which is a nature of value nature relationship to itself, in demonstration of which causes more of itself to be valued here, or the loss of that. See, when they bring up evolution, they force it as a contrast to religion, that they're forcing received criminally through the only realized sciences, because those sciences are recorded in collusion with cases already used criminally through time. And motivations to that, they only realized criminal justice, like stewardships of prisons and their family members, criminally foreign influence, maintain criminally foreign influence, victim predators, physical delusion, raw. Inter-campuses through time as per crime method on off campuses against correlation nature, which is a trinity. So this is consciously recorded, keeping and building. They have a I don't know if it's still ongoing, a case they have recorded and confessed and demonstrated and involved with fake sides, which they have a pattern of doing, like where they have the people who are looking out, they have abused patients, recorded and confessed with state forensics building associated with state police and other natures of police associated with a Phil Cololo and a Mendez family and a Yagmin family and a Joshua Julian, also recorded and confessed involved with their roles with interbranch and inter-campuses uses of Facebook, with crimes also with Newtown, Sandy Hook, investigators and such with criminal justice, and their doctors criminally involved with sex offenders, recorded. Identity theft crimes, recorded. Sequence shift natures, recorded. Roles with crimes with their family members with the courts already in the past through time, tied to them pretending that before federal criminals were proven that they didn't understand and exploiting that criminally, pretending after, as our stewards, after such was proven, still pretending they didn't know about it and still criminally exploiting it, as is reported in related depositions. And this is about torture method since before 9/11, and that has the same a number of my first wife, my friend. There are police in courts recorded and confessed torturing her and other girls not to say anything, about their roles with all kinds of natures of child abuses, all kinds of natures of roles with it, even with DCF people and like sex circles and stuff. Only that realize per how this is tactically juxtaposed natures of child abuses and roles with that with interbreeding and private women through time behind the worst men that are involved with fake care juxtaposed with violence and sequence shifts and all fakes, pretending other people are fake. This is teaching kids that everyone's a liar. And the people that are passionate about pretending that other people are liars are the ones who are doing it first for a sequence shifting role, for recorded criminal foreign influences of interbranch families and of military ones and of medical ones involved with drug crimes and alcohol crimes with kids before they even drinking with the same with a number of people reported and confessed. I never had a conversation with them that Lance Cuddy, and that his family is involved also with forensics and with Alina's Pizza and Park Street and intercity campuses tied to the sex offender clicks with the courts and doctors, foreign and domestic. Also juxtaposed with crimes with their overt federal criminals, uh, criminal enterprises, criminal insidiousness natures, like wrongdoers. And with their predicate acts, they attach me to fake conversations about the Trade Center attack and about cases that those same doctors in courts have family members and themselves reported with crimes with growing up, identity theft crimes against me growing up. And then they exploited that by not letting me make a statement, by forcing me not to be able to make a. See, these are courts and formal evidence reception natures using fake news through time juxtaposed, pretended fake as fake care conscious with crimes and cases against kids. We have courts kids. We have a Walters family. I only know from recorded and confessed since there were kid crime rules with CCSU, criminal justice, and overt criminality with drugs and like prostitution with those kids and stuff like that. They only demonstrated this to me to make it hard for me to talk about, because I had nothing to do with it. That's why they made me stay back so they could pretend they had passions and fact cheating that was on and morality they didn't have. Because I had two speech teachers recorded and confessed involved with detectives, retired and standing now, that were involved when since they some were kids with the abuses of Chris Walters and of his brothers and of his sister. His mother's involved with this because they're just relying on titles like a Dillon family. That's the guys recorded and confessed with my new and past neighbors with real estate crimes and with the sex offenders and with crime acts roles with the ones in, out of court, and online with the cases. Let's go. Fix fake news. Yes.